Fossil fuels. Fossil fuels have accounted for more than 80% of global economic consumption. What does this even mean? Well, a study was performed in CNN and back a couple years ago in 2021 that stated that in 2050, that it is less than 27 years from now, millions of lives will be lost. And not only this, but the economic would have a lot of hardships. This is unbelievable. And honestly, our future generations will be living in such horrible circumstances if we don't change what we're doing. In this speech, we will be considering how fossil fuels have been causing such negative impact and the reasons we should be changing this planet for the better, what we could do to limit the use of fossil fuels, and how life would be if we were to do such things. But let's start off with the first one. How fossil fuels have been causing such a negative impact in this planet. So according to this article that was released in 2021, Sciencing, it has been degrading land, which means that because fossil fuels required such an enormous amount of landscape, a lot of animals have been losing their habitat. And not only this, but it has been having such a negative impact in the pollution and in the air, and has been causing a lot of people problems. Another reason would be that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration that was released also a couple years ago has found that extracting fossil fuels near water has been spilling a lot of oil into such said water and has been polluting it. And it has been contaminating a bunch of little animals that are living in the water. Not only this, but whenever we are consuming seafood, all of these chemicals that the animals are like swimming around with, we are also consuming it whenever we eat seafood. And it has been really unsafe for us. And the marine ecosystem has been in a lot of danger. And the same article from Sciencing has also stated that vehicles that are fossil fuel powered have been emitting a mixture which is poisonous carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxide that has been in the air that turns into smog that we are breathing in. And this has led to respiratory illnesses, which means that a lot of people have been hospitalized and are dying because of this. But now that we have seen this negative effect that fossil fuels are doing to each and every one of us, let's see what we could do to limit the use of these. One alternative would be using renewable energy, such as solar energy or water energy, which can lead to the air being cleaner. According to Turbine Generator that was released in 2017, if we start using solar panels, the environment would be even much safer. If we use solar panels in everybody's home, the energy would be going down because it is powered by the sun. And if we stop using vehicles that are not powered by fossil fuels, the air would be fresher. According to Go Sun Blue, it would cut the greenhouse gas emission by more than 20%, which means that the climate changes, because it has been so hot over the years, would be going down and it would be leveling up. Another alternative would be limiting the way to obtain these fossil fuels. So we have stated that fossil fuels had a need to use such a large space, but if we start reducing it, it can help the economic balance and keep the organisms alive. Another way would be being careful whenever we are extracting fossil fuels from the land. If we were to limit where extraction near water, it would not pollute the water as much, and the animals will be even safer in these ecosystems. Now that we have determined what are some things we could do, let's see how life would be if the fossil fuels would be limited. Let's think about this. You were to walk outside your house, you open the door, and you take a breath of fresh air. But now, because of fossil fuels, it's not that clean. But if we were to limit the fossil fuels, whenever you take a deep breath in, it would be even fresher. And you would be breathing better, and your lungs wouldn't be affected as much. Another thing would be that if we were to use a smaller landscape, it would be meaning that there would be more little animals running around and there would be even more fresher water. Another thing would be, because it has been so hot, a lot of people and a lot of kids want to be swimming around, but because of not a lot of places to go swim, the nearest one would be Galveston, and it has been polluted by a lot, and you can see it in the water because it's not a really pretty color. But if we were to limit the fossil fuels, it would be even clearer and even much more safer for your kids to be swimming in, and you don't have to worry about it as much. And whenever you're drinking water from a bottle, you could taste the chemicals sometimes, but if we were to limit this, it would be even having a better taste, and you wouldn't have to be worried about the chemicals or about the pollution that are inside. Now that we have analyzed how fossil fuels have made such a negative impact, and what we could do to limit these fossil fuels, the use of fossil fuels, and how life would be if we were to do such a thing, let's see what you can do personally. So, to avoid polluting, we could start carpooling, which means that if we know that a friend is going to the same place as us, we could call them and tell them, hey, can we go with you? So we wouldn't be using our own vehicle and be releasing those toxins that are horrible for our lungs. Another thing would be using public transport. Even though right now it's hard to do, you can Uber, or you can just try to find a public transportation to limit the use of these gases. Another thing would be turning off lights. If you're in a room, just turn off your light. It doesn't take much. Just turn it off. And even though it is really hot right now, if you're not in your house, you could stop and turn off the AC, because it has made such a huge negative impact in the earth. And you could start by buying solar panels from Home Depot, and you could just ask the employees from there, or just Google it on YouTube and see how you can install it in your own home. Now that you know how fossil fuels have affected you in your everyday life, and with your help doing your best, it would bring a better life for all of us and your kids for in the future.